Hey guys, I'm just here today to show you guys how I make my faux fur pom-poms. So what you can see here is all of the materials that you need to make your faux fur pom-pom. So obviously the most important part, you need your piece of faux fur. I personally make mine from pieces of circular fur. Some people make them with a square shape, which works just as well, but I just prefer this. My pieces are about just over 5 inches in diameter, and that makes a really nice size. It makes about a 5 inch final pom-pom as well, depending on the pile length. Sometimes they're a little bit bigger, sometimes a little bit smaller. So yeah, you need your piece of fur here. You need a bit of stuffing. This is polyfill, but you could use scrap yarn, you could use the scrap pieces of fur here, anything that's relatively soft that you can use to just stuff this up and make it a nice full pom-pom. You need a piece of cord or yarn to cinch up the pom-pom. I use Bernat Maker Home Deck yarn. It's a nice, sturdy, sort of cord-like yarn. It's pretty durable, doesn't break easily. This is my favorite one to work with. But you could use whatever as long as it's a fairly sturdy piece of yarn or cord. You'll need a tapestry needle, something with a big enough eye to fit your piece of cord. And you'll need a little pair of scissors. So the first step is I cut little tiny snips along the edge, about an inch apart. It doesn't really matter how spread out they are, but I find smaller distance between the snips makes it cinch up nicer. So yeah, just snip all the way back to where you started. This step just makes it easier for the tapestry needle to go through. Some fur, it actually pokes through quite nicely, but some of them, it's a little bit of a stiffer backing and it can be really hard on your fingers to try and shove the needle through. So this really helps just make it an easier process on your hands. So the next step is you're going to take your tapestry needle with your cord and you're just going to start weaving back and forth through the little holes that you've snipped here. So you can see it's really easy. I'm not putting any effort poking the needle through the fabric here. It just goes nice and smoothly and it's way easier on your hands. So once you get to the end, you'll see you've got two pieces sticking out on the same side. Now this is important. When you do your snips here, you want to make sure you do them in pairs because that'll make the right number of holes so that you end up with your two pieces sticking out the same way. Now last but not least, we need to stuff the pom-pom and cinch it up. So you'll grab your piece of polyfill or whatever else you're using to stuff your pom-poms. If it's polyfill, I kind of like to just mold it into a bit of a ball here, and then you kind of just hold it into the center of your pom-pom, and then you just start pulling on those strings and it starts to cinch up your pom-pom. Sometimes, depending on how much polyfill you've put in, you might need to kind of like poke it through with your thumb there. Once you get it nice and cinched up, I like to give it one good tie there and then kind of do a nice tight second knot there. And now that's a pretty secure tie. If you've got any fur stuck in there, you can kind of pull it out at this point. Sometimes it gets a little stuck under the cord. And then I like to cut my cord so that it's not super long and just have ends that are long enough to poke through and tie through your knit or crochet hats, but not too long so that you have tons of extra. So there you have it. That's how I assemble a faux fur pom. This color is Jackal, and I have it on my website and Etsy if you're interested in purchasing your own poms.